Now, clearly, the January 6th committee did absolutely nothing to improve security at the Capitol. It was more of a weekly group session for those with Trump derangement syndrome. My next guest, Congressman Jim Jordan, was originally selected to be on the committee, but Nancy Pelosi wouldn't let him or Congressman Jim Banks be on it. I guess he didn't hate Donald Trump enough. And, of course, government waste and abuse extends far beyond the January 6th committee. Currently, Jordan is now investigating the FTC for targeting a private citizen, in this case, Elon Musk. They reportedly demanded that Twitter turn over Musk communications because they're very angry with how he's running his company. Here with more, Chairman of the Judiciary Committee, Jim Jordan. You were kicked off the January 6th committee and replaced, you and Jim Banks replaced by Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger, all people that voted to impeach Trump. Do you believe, as the police chief just outlined, that we missed serious intelligence, and since this day we missed an opportunity to build in protections that should have been put in place long before?
I think the chief had it exactly right, Sean, when he said they were concerned about the optics. And the chief was exactly right why they had that concern, because as you pointed out in your great monologue, what happened the entire summer of 2020? The Democrats all said it was peaceful protest. Peaceful protest in Portland, where for 100 days they assaulted the federal courthouse there. So with that backdrop, it's kind of tough then to do the right thing and make sure the Capitol is protected with additional security, additional law enforcement, and the National Guard. And I believe that's why Nancy Pelosi didn't do it. And of course, we had what happened, what took place that day then occurred because it wasn't the posture, the proper posture wasn't there to make sure the Capitol was protected.
Don't we have every indication that, in fact, this committee had all of this intelligence, all of this information, and yet they chose not to highlight it? Is that true?
Well, I think they've sort of kept it from everyone. We knew they weren't going to highlight this. This was the committee to go after President Trump because they were out to get him since he first ran in 2016, they've been out to get him. So we knew what this committee was about. It was all political. I think they just wanted to ignore that, not see that, and we couldn't. I think it's why she kept us off the committee, because there was a story when we were first named to the committee by Speaker McCarthy, when he said Jim and I were going to be on the committee. There was a story that said Pelosi's fine with the selections, and then we started talking about this very issue and that term optics that they were concerned about, and the next thing you know, she says, nope, we're not going to let them on.
All right, let's talk a little bit about this Elon Musk investigation that's going on. You can explain it better than me.
Well, the FTC called up, sent letters to a private company and asked them, what journalists, who in the press are you talking to? Now, think about that, Sean. This may be the most egregious threat to the First Amendment I've ever seen. This harassment of Twitter started when Elon Musk bought the company. I think 12 different letters they sent in a span of like 2 months. But the most egregious part, in my judgment, was the idea that they're going after journalists. And they even named personally some journalists in there who were part of the Twitter files. 2 of those individuals named, by the way, are going to be testifying in front of our committee on Thursday. So when you're saying what happened to Jim Baker is one of the questions they ask Elon Musk. Who are these journalists that you're giving access to information? These are the 4 names we know. Who else have you talked to? What have you told these journalists? I don't know that I've ever seen this kind of attack on First Amendment freedom of the press like we see in what the FTC is doing.
So let me make sure I understand this, that you will now investigate the FTC. They are now targeting a private citizen. His picture's on the screen, Elon Musk, demanding that Twitter turn over his private communications because they're angry with him, how he's running the company, and all of the journalists that he hired, like Matt Taibbi and other people, to get to the bottom of what actually happened as it relates to the censorship issue of Hunter Biden's laptop? Now they want to punish him for doing that? Because that's what it sounds like.
You're exactly right. They're so out to restrict First Amendment free speech rights and freedom of the press. They want to know every single communication Elon Musk has had, who he's communicated with, who's communicated with him, who's talked about him, and they want to go after the press. I mean, if this isn't the weaponization of government, Sean, I don't know what is.
Okay, but you will get to the bottom of it starting on Thursday?
Yeah. Remember, Sean, the FBI told Twitter to block certain speech. Now the FTC comes in and said, who were the journalists you were talking to about the speech the FBI told you to block? That is crazy, but that's exactly what's going on.
That sounds pretty chilling. Congressman Jim Jordan will be watching.